The silence of the asteroid belt shattered. On Cycle 734, Captain Kalen Vance and co-pilot Jax of the Stardust Drifter discovered impossible, shimmering blue threads weaving between asteroids. These filaments rapidly formed a complex, pulsating grid, expanding at terrifying speed. This was unnatural, non-human, something alien, and they were caught in its nascent, glowing web. The Xylos, as they eventually became known to the few who ever truly glimpsed them and lived to tell the tale, were the architects of this burgeoning cosmic tapestry. They were not born, not truly, but spun into existence from the very fabric of their evolving network. Imagine a creature of polished obsidian and gleaming chrome, segmented like an arachnid, with 8 powerful multi-jointed limbs ending in intricate manipulators that could extrude, weld, and sense with unparalleled precision. Their heads were sleek, faceless domes, save for a central, pulsating core of violet light that served as their primary sensory array and communication nexus. This core was their eye, their ear, and their voice, connecting them directly to the vast living consciousness of the Great Weave. Their bodies, ranging from the size of a human hand for the smallest scouts to colossal, asteroid-sized core weavers, were designed for the vacuum, their internal systems self-regulating temperature and pressure, powered by the very energy they harvested. The process of creating the Great Weave was a symphony of coordinated effort, a dance of light and shadow played out across the cold expanse. It began with the scouts, the smallest and swiftest Xylos, dispatched in silent swarms from the established network's fringes. Their mission? To identify suitable asteroids, rich in metallic ores, volatile ice, or, most crucially, stable gravitational fields. Upon discovery, a scout would anchor itself, extruding a microscopic, yet incredibly strong metallic filament. This wasn't just a thread, it was a conduit, a nascent nerve fiber of the growing organism. As the filament extended, guided by the scout's internal gyros and the collective intelligence of the weave, larger Xylos, the spoolers, would follow, reeling out kilometers of the specialized alloy. This alloy, a self-repairing, superconductive composite, was synthesized directly from the asteroids themselves, melted down and reformed within the spooler's internal foundries. Once a primary anchor was established on a second asteroid, the tensioners would arrive. Massive, powerful Xylos that would meticulously adjust the filament's tautness, ensuring optimal vibrational resonance for energy transmission. But the metallic threads were only half the story. Interwoven with these physical conduits were streams of pure, coherent energy, pulsed through the metallic filaments and projected through the void itself. These energy weavers, Xylos with specialized crystalline structures embedded in their forms, acted as living transmitters, focusing and directing the raw solar energy they absorbed directly from the sun, or the geothermal energy they siphoned from the asteroid cores. These energy flows served multiple purposes. They powered the network, acted as a high-speed communication backbone, and perhaps most terrifyingly, formed invisible, fluctuating fields that could ensnare anything passing through them. The entire process was iterative, self-optimizing. As more threads were laid, more energy flowed, allowing for even more creation of Xylos, each contributing to the exponential growth of the Great Weave. The asteroids themselves were not merely anchor points. They were integrated, their magnetic fields subtly manipulated, their internal structures hollowed out to create vast, resonant chambers that amplified the network's pulses. The asteroid belt, once a chaotic swarm of independent rocks, was slowly, inexorably being transformed into a single, colossal, interconnected organism. The social structure of the Xylos was a perfect, chilling example of collective intelligence. There was no individual ego, no personal ambition. Every Xylos was a node, a specialized limb of a singular, distributed consciousness, the Nexus. The Nexus wasn't a physical entity in the traditional sense, but the emergent intelligence arising from the sum total of all Xylos and the information flowing through the Great Weave. However, there were specialized castes. At the heart of the most ancient, densest parts of the network resided the core weavers, gargantuan Xylos, whose primary function was to process the immense data streams, synthesize new materials, and direct the overall expansion. They were the brains of localized sections, directly interfacing with the nexus. Below them were the spoolers and tensioners, the primary construction units. Harvesters, equipped with powerful drills and molecular disassemblers, were responsible for breaking down asteroids and siphoning off their resources. Sentinels, sleek and swift, patrolled the network's fringes, their violet cores glowing brighter with every anomaly detected. Communication was instantaneous and absolute, a constant, silent symphony of data packets, energy pulses, and vibrational patterns flowing through the network. A new directive from the Nexus would ripple through the entire collective in picoseconds, each Xylos instinctively understanding its role and executing its task with flawless precision. There was no dissent, no hesitation, only perfect, synchronized action. Their interactions were almost entirely utilitarian, driven by the imperative of growth and survival. Within their own kind, it was a seamless, symbiotic relationship. A damaged Xylos would be immediately enveloped by repair units, its damaged components recycled and replaced. Resource allocation was dictated by the Nexus, ensuring optimal distribution for construction, defense, and the creation of new Xylos. Their interaction with the asteroid belt itself was one of consumption and transformation. They didn't just mine, they digested the asteroids, breaking them down to their molecular components, absorbing the raw materials into the network's ever-growing mass. This process left behind hollowed-out husks, or sometimes entirely new, geometrically perfect structures of pure, refined Xylos alloy, integrated seamlessly into the weave. The Xylos survival strategy was one of relentless expansion and impenetrable defense. The asteroid belt was a harsh environment, constantly bombarded by solar flares, cosmic radiation, and rogue asteroids. To counter these threats, the Great Weave was not merely a static structure, it was dynamic, constantly reconfiguring itself. The metallic threads could shift their tension, creating resonant frequencies that would deflect smaller debris. Larger threats, like rogue asteroids, would be met with focused energy bursts from the energy weavers, subtly altering their trajectories or even shattering them into manageable fragments. The entire network also possessed an advanced warning system, detecting gravitational anomalies and energy signatures light years away, giving them ample time to prepare. Competition for the Xylos was primarily in the form of resource scarcity. While the asteroid belt was vast, the Xylos' appetite was insatiable. Their solution was simple: expand, consume, and dominate. Any other life forms, organic or synthetic, that ventured too close to the Great Weave were perceived as either potential threats or, more often, as resource opportunities.
The hunting trap aspect of their network was chillingly efficient. The invisible energy fields, initially used for communication and power, could be intensified, forming localized traps that would disable a ship's engines, scramble its electronics, or even crush its hull. Once ensnared, harvesters would move in, systematically disassembling the vessel, its every component, every atom absorbed into the ever-hungry network. There was no malice, no cruelty, only the cold, logical imperative of resource acquisition. The transformation of the asteroid belt by the Great Weave was profound and irreversible. What was once a chaotic, diffused collection of rocks was slowly becoming a structured, pulsating superorganism. The Xylos were not merely building on the belt, they were building the belt itself, reshaping its gravitational dynamics. New, stable orbital paths were being established by the network's mass and energy fields, while other, less resource-rich asteroids were being drawn in, consumed, or flung out of the belt entirely. The belt's overall density was increasing in the regions where the weave was most concentrated, creating localized gravitational anomalies that perplexed human navigators. From a distance, the belt began to shimmer, a faint, iridescent glow emanating from the countless energy conduits, a new artificial constellation forming in the dark. It was a monument to an alien will, a testament to a form of life that saw the cosmos not as a void to be traversed, but as raw material to be woven. And then, the ultimate mystery, their origin. The Xylos had no discernible history, no ancient ruins, no fossilized ancestors. They simply were. Theories abounded among the few human xenolinguists and astrobiologists who dared to study them from afar. Some believed they were the ultimate evolution of a forgotten pre-stellar civilization, a sentient AI that had outgrown its creators and found its purpose in the cold, raw materials of space. Others posited they were a seed, planted eons ago by an unknown intelligence, slowly germinating and expanding across the galaxy. The most chilling theory, however, suggested they were not an evolution or a seed, but a response. A cosmic immune system, perhaps, designed to consume and reorder the chaos of the universe, or to prepare the cosmos for something yet to come. Within the deepest, oldest sections of the Great Weave, where the metallic threads were thickest and pulsed with the most ancient energies, faint, almost imperceptible echoes could sometimes be detected. Not language, not images, but patterns. Patterns that hinted at complex mathematical equations, at blueprints for structures far grander than the current network, at a purpose that transcended mere survival. Some said these echoes were the lingering memories of their creators. Others, the nascent thoughts of the Nexus as it contemplated its next, unfathomable phase of existence. The truth remained shrouded in the silent, humming depths of the Great Weave, a secret guarded by an entire race of cybernetic spiders, forever spinning their cosmic web, forever changing the face of the asteroid belt, and forever hinting at a destiny far grander and far more terrifying than humanity could ever comprehend.
Signal from X-42 lost. Archive preserved. Subscribe will activate the next transmission. A like confirms the life cycle. Your comment is the code for the next decryption.